Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Wherever you are in your day, let's take just a few minutes to pause. In the Gospel according to John, chapter 16, verses 20 to 23, Jesus is still a part of the final discourse where he's talking to his disciples before his crucifixion. He's saying, "You will grieve, but your grief will turn into joy." The disciples obviously don't understand what this means. He's preparing them for his crucifixion. They trusted him. They built their lives around following him. And soon everything is going to be falling apart because it's right before Jesus gets arrested. And the disciples are hearing bits and pieces of it, but they still don't understand the full picture. I feel like sometimes we experience moments that might be confusing for us while we're like in the middle of living the confusing parts. Maybe a loss that we didn't expect, a prayer that seems unanswered, feeling like God isn't listening to us or hearing us. That's because we don't know what's coming next. And when we're in the middle of something painful, it might feel like that's our whole story. So Jesus is telling them that the grief won't last forever, not because it's not real. Of course, it is real, but that it's not going to be permanent. And then I really like the comparison when he compares it to a woman in labor. The pain is real, but that leads to a new life. I never actually thought of it that way. The image of childbirth in the ancient world, I'm sure, was very dangerous, uncertain, obviously painful, but it was connected to a hope and a future joy. So Jesus is saying what feels like unbearable right now is not meaningless. Something new is going to be formed through it. And maybe that's what we need to realize today, that there might be some parts of our life where we don't see the whole picture. We don't know what the future is going to be holding, but faith reminds us that God is working in places that feel unfinished. So maybe today is not about pretending that everything is going to be okay. And that if we're grieving about something, it's okay to grieve. It's just that trusting that this moment of pain is not the end of the story. Joy can still return. There's still healing that can still come. And there's still clarity that might happen even though things feel uncertain right now. Sometimes it's one day at a time. Sometimes it's just 1 hour at a time. Sometimes it's just thinking one moment at a time. So, journal prompts that you might want to sit with to kind of pray on would be, what situation in my life currently feels unresolved or painful right now? And where have I mistaken a difficult season in my life for what I thought was a final outcome? And what would it look like to trust God is still with me working through this difficult season? And then finally, have I allowed myself to believe that joy can return again? Let me know in the comments what you're thinking. Share it with a friend and have a discussion. But don't forget to subscribe so you can continue to hear God's whispers.